I'm going to read a piece from our publication as well, titled The Dialectics of Black Space. I typically like to do a deconstructed visual performance for this, so this is the first time I'm actually reading it from a book. But one thing I will continue to do is ask that the lights be turned off. I just have an affinity for drama and the dramatic, so. And also the piece is accompanied by this idea of darkness. I'll start with a quote from Arthur Jaffa. Just because a black person sings, don't make it black music. It wasn't until this recent trip to Los Angeles that I began a serious inquiry around the dialectics of black space. While visiting a variety of physical spaces, I observed critically so as to dissect the insider-outsider dynamics of blackness, its culture, its history, its imagery, and the faces standing in the shadows of its ownership. At a crucial moment where matters of black being feel like an incumbent visitor in the art world, I naturally side-eye most anything that feels misleading. While my crucial lens should adhere to the same criticism, I struggle with my own ability to empathize with and relate to art that uses the black image as capital, be it social or monetary, when it doesn't rest in the hands of a black artist. Black space is supposed to be a place of comfort, a home, a shelter preserving black intimacy, a place where our relationships to one another's blackness is bound. But as blackness shifts with time and amendment to language, so will the thing that houses it. Can you tell me what blackness sounds like? How loud is it? How quiet is it? Does blackness have the ability to abstain from sound? Can blackness simulate silence? Think about for just a moment the silence of darkness. Think about what that silence feels like. Blackness knows silence. There's nothing more silent than darkness. Nothing produces vibrato like darkness. Darkness occupies both inside and outside spaces, spaces that are both tactile and psychological. Spaces serve contradictory feelings of intimacy and isolation, depending on whether you're positioned as an insider or an outsider. A friend once told me, to be wise is to be able to hold space for contradiction. I would argue the same applies for blackness. In understanding blackness and the imagined space that blackness provides and claims, an insider can easily become an outsider, as an outsider, through active engagement and consumption, can become an insider. This is similar to the feelings that surfaced around Martinez's black-owned work. When it comes to matters of presenting concepts of blackness, I found that the outsider is often looking for simplification in place of nuance, and what they discover is a smokescreen. Space is not only high, it's low. It's the bottomless pit. There's no end to it. It's Sun Ra. Consider for a moment sitting in a movie theater, a space that capitalizes on darkness, a space which historically does not and cannot function without the absence of light. In the absence of light, physical attributes are less discernible. Our colors mute and blend. The bumps and curves in our figures blur. And all that's left is our breath, movement, and the tension that floats in the negative spaces our bodies can't feel.